Of course. Here's a fully restructured and expanded version of your plot for General Hospital, around 6,000 characters long, using a tight logical flow but very different wording from the original. A family fractured, Kristina, Molly, and Alexis face the past. In the quiet aftermath of another stormy day in Port Charles, Kristina Davis stumbled across a folded document buried among her mother's old files. It wasn't just any paperwork, it was a chilling directive, an official order for Kristina to be involuntarily committed to a mental health facility. The shock hit her like a punch to the chest. Even more devastating was the name that authorized it, her own mother, Alexis Davis. Unable to contain her disbelief, Kristina immediately sought out her sister, Molly Lansing Davis. Together, their anger and confusion grew with every word they exchanged, each reading and rereading the document as if it might somehow change. Was it real? Was it a mistake? Had their mother truly taken such drastic steps against Kristina behind her back? Fueled by a desperate need for answers, Kristina and Molly made their way to Alexis's home. The confrontation was inevitable, and as soon as Alexis opened the door, she could see the fire burning in her daughter's eyes. They didn't waste time on pleasantries. Kristina thrust the paper toward her mother, her voice trembling with fury as she demanded an explanation. Caught off guard but not entirely surprised that the truth had surfaced, Alexis reacted instinctively. She pleaded with Molly to step outside, insisting that this was a conversation she needed to have privately with Kristina. Molly resisted at first, but seeing the pained look in Alexis's eyes, she reluctantly agreed and retreated into another room, although she kept the door cracked open just enough to hear every word. Left alone, Alexis began to unravel the painful history behind her actions. Years ago, Kristina had spiraled into a dangerously dark place, emotionally unstable, entangled with toxic influences, and slipping away from everyone who loved her. Alexis, desperate and terrified for her daughter's safety, made the agonizing decision to intervene. She didn't see it as betrayal back then, she saw it as saving Kristina from herself. Hearing this, Kristina's emotions clashed violently inside her. Part of her understood the maternal fear that drove Alexis to such extremes, but another part of her felt an undeniable sense of violation and betrayal. Her autonomy had been stripped away, her trust shattered without her consent. Love and resentment battled within her, leaving her feeling hollow and broken. Yet one thing became clear: Alexis had not acted alone. Ava Jerome, ever the meddler in Port Charles affairs, had played a pivotal role in pushing Alexis towards such a drastic solution. Upon learning this, Kristina's confusion sharpened into something far more dangerous: a thirst for retribution. Ava had manipulated the situation for her own benefit, and Kristina vowed that one day soon, she would pay the price. After the tense and tearful exchange, Kristina and Alexis sat in uneasy silence until Molly rejoined them. Despite their differences, the three women knew they had to find a way forward together. They returned home, the heavy air between them thick with unspoken apologies and unresolved grief. That night, the three sat at the kitchen table, a scene that should have felt comforting but now bristled with tension. They needed to act. Kristina's past couldn't be rewritten, but maybe they could carve out a better future. The question was how. Each of them proposed different ideas. Molly, ever the pragmatic legal mind, suggested pursuing a formal complaint against Ava through legitimate channels. Alexis, with a heavy heart, argued for caution, warning that any overt action could backfire and worsen the situation. Kristina, however, was fueled by a raw, unfiltered need for justice and revenge. The conversation grew heated. Kristina wanted Ava publicly exposed for her manipulations, but Molly worried about dragging their family name through another scandal. Alexis, caught between her daughters, tried to broker peace but found herself overwhelmed by the tidal wave of emotions. They talked deep into the night, laying out plans, picking them apart, and discarding them one by one. No solution seemed perfect. Every strategy carried its own risks, legal, emotional, and moral. Could they go after Ava without destroying what was left of their family's reputation? Could Kristina ever truly heal if she didn't confront the betrayal head-on? As the clock struck midnight, their kitchen table was littered with coffee cups, legal pads filled with frantic notes, and a palpable sense of frustration. They hadn't yet found a plan they could all agree on, but one thing was certain: the bond between Kristina, Molly, and Alexis, however strained, was still intact, stubbornly surviving even the deepest wounds. The night ended without a clear path forward, but with one fragile promise: no matter what decisions they made next, they would face them together, as a family. Even when love feels like betrayal, even when trust feels irreparably broken, family, in Port Charles, is never truly beyond repair. And in the distance, lurking in the shadows, Ava Jerome had no idea that the reckoning she so richly deserved was already taking shape, fueled by the righteous fury of a daughter scorned, a sister emboldened, and a mother seeking redemption. Would you also like a second version that feels even more intense and dramatic? I can do one that's even more emotionally explosive if you want. Glowing Star.